Hi everyone, welcome to Cinema Briefing. Today's show is Kiss of Death. Please like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this video in the comment section down below. Senator meets up with Micah. She's dressed in seductive black lingerie. They start making out, and Micah, who is at his back, takes off his tie and strangles him with it. They tussle around the room, but Senator dies. She cleans up the hotel room and she makes the crime scene look like a suicide. When she gets home, she gets into bed. Jameson, her husband, wakes up and asks her questions about where she's been all night. She gives him some lies and he refuses to believe it, and then he goes to sleep on the couch. She later experiences a nightmare and then jumps up from her sleep. The next morning, Micah and her husband Jameson are in couples therapy. The therapist is trying to help them and gives them suggestions on how to make their marriage work, like getting to know each other again. When they get home, Jameson expresses his intention to look for a job and tells her it's for security in case anything happens to their marriage, because he's a stay-at-home father. Micah is very upset that Jameson thinks that she's cheating on him because of the time she spends outside at night doing her job, but she cannot tell him the truth of her job and what she does. Micah is in boxing practice with her friend Auntie Lady. She uses this training to strengthen her skills and also release a little bit of steam from her frustration with what is happening inside her marriage. After the training, while they are resting, Auntie Lady drops a bag filled with cash in front of her for payment for her last skill. Micah expresses her desire to end this job because of the way it's threatening her relationship with her husband. Auntie Lady tries to talk her out of it. At her photography studio, Micah is taking photos of a lovely model. When the model leaves, a lady dressed in white named Chantel comes into the store and tells her that she wants her to kill her husband. Micah is shocked. She refuses the money and the job. They have a back and forth. She still refuses. Then Chantel brings out a photo of Micah and another man and blackmails her with it. Micah goes to see Auntie Lady. She talks to her about the situation, asks her for advice because she doesn't want to take the job because of the time it took away from her family. Auntie Lady instead encourages her to take the job one last time. The next day, Chantel comes to Micah's shop to ask for an answer. Micah agrees to do the job but raises the price to $1 million and demands for all copies of the material Chantel is using to blackmail her. While Micah is getting ready later that night to go to the club event where she can find Chantel's husband Dyson, Jameson comes into the closet and they have an argument. He wants to go with her because of the kind of person that Dyson is, but she refuses because it's her job. They argue and then they both storm off and they don't reach a conclusion. Micah arrives at the club and starts dancing. She stares and catches the attention of Dyson. Dyson and his wife Chantel have a brief row. Then Dyson heads to the dance floor and goes up to Micah. They start dancing and Micah spills something on herself purposely so she can go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, at home, Jameson is sitting and drinking alone in the parlor. He's contemplating. Their daughter Malaya comes down and offers him some comfort. Micah begins her plan to seduce Dyson and gets him to agree to a photo shoot of his lounge alone and then gives him her business card. The next day, it's 1 p.m. in the afternoon when Jamie comes to wake her up. They have a conversation and it seems like everything is going to be alright. Then they make love. The next day, she receives a gift of lovely heels from Dyson. She puts them on and heads out and gets into a black Jeep. On the other side of the road, her husband Jameson is spying on her and watching. He follows the vehicle. Micah is meeting up with Dyson to get her plan in motion. They share a hug and enter his lounge. While they are having conversation, Micah discovers that Dyson did extensive research on her background. She also discovers from Dyson that her parents were killed and that their death was not a suicide. Dyson eventually gets called away by his bodyguard, so the date has to end early before she can kill him. Dyson gets his bodyguard Kip to take Micah home. When he drops her off away from her house so her husband doesn't see, she meets a set-up ambush. She wins the fight and then Dyson's bodyguard Kip drives away after witnessing it. Micah took a bit of a beating during the fight, so she looks roughened up. When she gets home, Jameson tosses her luggage and tells her to get out because he saw her kissing Dyson. He believes that she's been lying to him all along. She tries to explain it but he doesn't listen. So she agrees and goes to Auntie Lady's place. She has a conversation with Auntie Lady in which the woman advises her to just complete the job and take advantage of the breakup with her husband to seduce and kill Dyson so that this whole situation can be out of the way. Micah goes to the house to talk to her daughter. During the conversation, she expresses her anger at her mother Micah for the cheating situation and expresses her position in support of her father Jameson. When Micah meets up with Dyson later that night, she fake cries and complains about being tossed out of her house by her husband. Dyson tells her to wash her face and that he'll help her with a place to stay. She goes to the bathroom and pulls out her gun, preparing to end Dyson's life. As she's heading out of the bathroom, she sees Chantel and Dyson having an argument. She eavesdrops. It turns out that Chantel had lied about her husband Dyson being physically abusive. She hired Micah to kill her husband so that she can walk away with some money because when he offered her a divorce without any compensation. Micah puts her gun back into hiding and goes out to meet Dyson. They then agree that she'll come stay at his place. As she heads out of the lounge, she hides behind a bush and watches Chantel talk to Dyson's bodyguard Kip, and then they start making out. She takes some pictures to use as proof in defense later. Behind her, Jameson sits in his car watching all this play out. When she leaves, Jameson goes into the lounge and threatens Dyson to leave his wife alone. They butt heads and then Jason gets dragged out by Dyson's bodyguard. Jameson goes to speak with Auntie Lady, who just simply advises him to just hold on and be patient and to trust Micah. Dyson and his bodyguard Kip are in the room upstairs when Micah arrives and knocks on the front door. Dyson goes to open it up, then she walks in with her luggage. He tells her to make herself at home and then goes back upstairs. Kip, his bodyguard, hands him a gun and tells him to handle his business. Dyson goes downstairs and aims the gun at her as she sits on the kitchen counter. She aims her gun at him too. They confront each other. She drops her gun and shows him the picture of his wife and his bodyguard keeping each other's arms. Then she reveals that Chantel hired her to kill him and his bodyguard Kip is probably in on it too. Meanwhile, at the same time upstairs, Chantel and Kip are on a phone call. Micah tells Dyson that they need to work together to take them both down. That is when Dyson drops his own gun. They make a plan on how to take them out. During the conversation, Dyson reveals that he has proof that her parents were actually murdered and it wasn't a suicide. They commence the plan and set it in motion. We see various scenes playing out, building up into a climax. Dyson has one of his men kidnap Kip and tie him up. Dyson begins to interrogate Kip. Kip admits that he's in love with Dyson's wife. Dyson then hits his head with a baseball bat and kills him. After that situation, Dyson and Micah are walking down the street chatting when Jameson confronts them. He and Micah get into an argument and Dyson pulls his gun on Jameson. Micah pulls her gun on Dyson to get him to drop his gun from threatening her husband. When Dyson and Micah get in the car, she's pissed off and questions him about what just happened. They argue and then just agree that they help each other out to get rid of Chantel, and then Micah will be free of Dyson and can return back to her family. The next day, Auntie Lady is waiting for Micah at her car. She confronts her about why she hasn't completed the job of killing Dyson. Micah expresses that she has no intention to kill Dyson again because Chantel lied. Auntie Lady doesn't want to hear it and just tells her to kill him because Chantel has paid the deposit. She also tells Micah not to believe Dyson, saying that he has proof of who killed her parents. As Micah drives off, she gets a call from Dyson, who warns her about Auntie Lady not being her actual blood. Auntie Lady goes and finds Micah's daughter Malia. She then lures her out with ice cream and invites her to their boxing gym after. Micah calls Lady, who tells her that she has Malia and then tells her to meet her in the boxing gym in some hours. When they get to the gym, Lady uses an excuse to tie up Malia and also blindfold her. Lady goes to Dyson's lounge, shoots his bodyguard and then takes him hostage back to the gym. She ties him up next to Malia. Micah arrives at the gym and she has a standoff with Lady. Lady threatens her and then Micah slowly drops her gun. Jameson arrives at the gym and is also held hostage by Lady. Lady gets into an argument with all of them. She shoots Dyson and then tells the rest of them that she just wants to work things out with them as a family. She actually sounds quite crazy. Lady reveals Micah's occupation to Jameson and Malia. She also admits to killing her parents. Micah attacks Lady, which causes enough of a distraction for Jameson to try and get Malia out of her bondage. Jameson got caught in the crossfire and sustained a gunshot injury. Just as Lady is about to stab Micah, she gets shot dead by Micah instead. Chantel is planning her escape out of the house when Micah shows up and threatens her. After a discussion, she lets Chantel go and tells her never to come back. A couple of days later, Jameson and Micah are back at couples therapy. Their counselor notices that they look much happier and points it out. They both agree with the lady, and then the movie comes to a close. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me what you think about this video in the comment section down below.